make sure that we are serving our community. And our community, the WISE community, are women business owners and entrepreneurs in the central New York area. And so today you are in for an amazing treat. Can somebody say amazing treat? That's what's happening today. Thank you so much. Yes. So, the Power Hour today is all about what you want to know before starting a podcast. And that's really important. So, even if you've started a podcast, totally cool. It's all right. The value that you're going to get today from our guest is going to help you position your podcast in the way that you need to be positioned to do what you need to do. So, we know that podcasting is a very popular way for your small business to share your voice and build trust and connect with your customers. So, our guest today, Miss Anna Il. Did I say it right, Anna?
Yeah, you're there.
Cool beans. Have been working on it. We know Anna to be a natural storyteller. What does that mean? She knows how to make videos and podcasting feel effortless. She is passionate. She's a creator of the Ecamm Live community, which is the go-to video production software for Mac. She produces 2 live shows, helping other creators master video podcasting and presentations and live streaming without tech overwhelm. That is an amazing gift, right? So when she's not geeking out over the camera or over content, she is behind the lens. So she is a multifaceted entrepreneur at her own studios, capturing headshots, capturing live moments, and she is always available. And we'll learn more about how she's available to business owners and individuals to promote their business. So, Anna, welcome.
Thank
Welcome,
you.
welcome,
Thank you. That was a
welcome.
great introduction, Melody. That was great.
Thank you so much. I try to hit every point. Are there any points that I missed that you'd like to share with us about who you are and why you are?
No, that covered it very well. But one thing that I do want to say, and the reason why I want to say this is because a lot of what I'm going to share just after this preface is I attribute it to showing up in video.
Mhm.
And I was fortunate enough to be chosen to document my client's journey as they established their presence here locally. And that
Mhm.
happened, I attribute it, I want to say 90% of it was because I was showing up on video. So that was already my resume, right? Somebody referred me, but then the video was already out. My video podcast was already out. So they were able to see me as who I was, and then also what I can produce for them. The same
Mhm.
thing happened with Ecamm. I showed up in video. They saw how I was using the platform and how
Mhm.
innovative it was, and then that way it gave them a high level overview of what could happen and what could do if we work together. And that's how the partnership started. So we're gonna go more into that, but I wanted to mention that just to give you an idea of what video can do for you and for your business.
You never know who's watching, right? You never know who's
Yeah.
watching. And typically, and like what you just said tells the truth that folk are watching who you don't even know are watching. And opportunities are rampant when you show up in spaces the way that you want people to see you, right?
Yes,
So
that's
we're gonna
exactly
we're
right.
gonna cover
Yep.
a lot of that. What I'd like you to do, because we do have a quite a bit of time, and I want to leave time for questions because you are a wealth of information and experience. What is it or how is it that you got started in podcasting?
Yeah, so I started in podcasting. I was already in 2015. I launched my video production company, and that came with the podcast officially unofficial. So officially unofficial was born out of the need of showing the community of what was happening, the type of events that I was photographing, just as video marketing and also as connecting more with the community. So that
Mhm.
was my why for starting that podcast. And then from there on, then in 2020, as we know, we just all went virtual. And
Mhm.
that was when I started using Ecamm, started exploring the possibilities of showing up in video virtually instead of in real life, which is what I was doing prior to 2020.
I love that. I love the fact that as a business owner, you took advantage of something that you couldn't control, right?
Yes.
A lot of
Yep.
times life happens. As we say, what do we say? Life is lifing. And in 2019 and 2020, life across the world. And one
Hmm.
of the gifts of video podcasting is that you can reach as many people as possible, right? And if you're targeted, you can reach as many people as you want to reach in that way. So let's do a deep dive in the next
Yeah.
40 or so minutes that we have. And so I'd like you to share with our audience watching today and watching on the replay, what should you consider as a business owner before launching your own podcast?
Yeah, so we're gonna start with that as a great, great one to start with. And the first thing that as a business owner, we wanna, and even if you're just working for a company, because you could be working for a company and be in charge of the creatives in the within the company. The first thing that you need to think about is who is this going to be for?
Mm,
Or who's your audience going to be? Because from there, you will be able to decide what type of topics you're going to be talking about, what information you're going to be sharing. So that's one of the first one, right? Who is it for? Then what is the goal of it? Is the goal of your podcast going to be for awareness? Is it going to be for lead generation? Is it going to be for educational purposes? So
mhm,
all of that, once you determine that, then you'll be like, okay, it's going to be for, say, educators, and so I am going to let them know that I am here. And that will be the brand awareness. And that
mhm,
will determine what type of topics you're going to be sharing. Another thing would be, how often are you going to publish it? Right? So
mhm,
it has to work with your schedule, not with, oh my gosh, I see somebody else goes live every day, or not goes live, but the podcast is every day, right?
mhm,
And you don't have to do it that way. You have to do it that it fits in your schedule. You have to fit the podcasting in your schedule so that
mhm,
you can sustain it. Because there will be some times where if you're just doing it every day, you're not going to be consistent if that's not within your schedule. So that is a very important thing to think about. And then the next thing is, do you want to go solo or do you want to have a co-host? Right? So
mhm,
that is that one. And then how will you promote it? Right. So once you have, so these are the bones of starting the
mhm,
podcast, right? These, once you have the meat and the bones, then you can move on to the next stage, which would be how to structure your podcast. But before I go there, let me know if there are any questions that we can address when it comes to that first, what to consider.
Yeah, I want to go back to something that I think is incredibly important, and not specific to podcasting, but since you brought it up about the pressure to do what other folks are doing, right? Because podcasting is something, once you build the audience, that folk are going to be looking for you in this
Hmm.
space at this time,
Hmm.
and there is quite a bit of pressure to be on as much as you can, to do as much
Hmm.
as you can, right? But you mentioned a word, sustaining it, right? Which
Yes.
is, talk a little bit more about that. Why is that so important to folk who are podcasting, being able to sustain your podcasting project? Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, you want to show consistency,
Yes.
right? You want to show consistency. So people are expecting you to show up every Wednesday at X time. So
Mhm.
they, at first, they're gonna be like, are they gonna do it? Are they consistent? So they're gonna be watching you at first. They will interact with you, but they're watching you at first to see how serious are you about this, right? And then whatever it is that you are promoting, whether it is awareness, lead generation, whatever marketing goal it is that you have, they're going to be looking at that and how consistent you are, because that will show how consistent you will be in the real life, in the business that you're trying to promote. Right. So that is why it is so important to be have your schedule and keep it sustainable, so that you know that you can do it every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, no matter what, right? You're going to release that episode on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, and people will see it. Even if they don't watch it, they will still see it. So when they see you in the community, they will talk about, oh, I watched your episode. Oh, you're doing great things. Not, Oh, haven't seen you in a while. You're still doing
Mm,
your podcast? Right.
that's
You don't
powerful.
want to,
Yes.
right? So
Yes.
that is very important to
Excellent.
create your schedule so that you can be sustainable.
Absolutely. I also want to mention if you have a question as we go along, you can put it in the chat and it will pop up pretty wonderfully in Anna's box. There
Yeah,
is a
I'm
benefit.
trying to see if I can bring it
Yes,
up
but
for
it
you all,
says,
but I think you are pinned. Let me see if I bring this up.
yeah, there you
Bring
go.
this up. You see it
Your
in your
comment will show up
screen?
right there. Yes. Can you all see it?
Okay.
Awesome. It's very wonderful to have someone who is an expert at what we're talking about and she can get these things done. So you all can see questions. So don't be shy about
Yeah,
asking
so your
questions.
question will be right here. And then
Yes.
as Melody mentioned, there was a method to our madness for having you, right? Because if you have a question and you would like to come on, right, we can pop you up here. So we can do something like, for example, we can pop, who could it be? I'm gonna, just because Bianca mentioned,
Mhm.
Bianca, I'm gonna use you as a guinea pig. Is that okay?
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to add Bianca here. And then what I will do is I can say, for example, if the question is for Melody, I can add Bianca here and in the camera, and then she will be asking her question right here. Right. So if you have any questions, that's why you showed up. Awesome. Looking good on camera. This is a
Yes.
nice test.
Yes, yes,
So
yes.
that's how it would be. But so if you have any question, and if you don't want to be on camera, it's not a big deal. We don't have you here. We just pull in your comment, and Melody and I will just stay here.
Yes,
So yep.
absolutely. There is a method though to you being on camera. Anna is going to help do a little, not a little, a basic how you should be on camera. So going
Yeah.
back to, so thank you for talking about consistency. That's important. And often it could be a barrier, right? Because you want to make
Mm-hmm.
sure that you're showing up and you don't want folk to catch you in Wegmans and say, I haven't seen you in a while. Absolutely.
Right. Right.
So going from having to structure your podcast so that it makes sense to you and it makes sense to your audience, let's talk about some basic, just really basic equipment or tools to get started. Not just get started, but get started on a budget. Many entrepreneurs are often solopreneurs or often hybridpreneurs, still working part-time or whatever the case may be. We want to
Mm-hmm.
make sure that you have what you need to get started, even if the funds are not fully available.
Yeah, and that is one of the things that I find over and over again. That's one of the questions that I ask. How I don't start my podcast because I don't have the equipment
Yeah.
or it's too expensive. But to
Mhm.
tell you the truth, you have everything that you need right now to start your podcast, because you have your phone, right? So and I'm gonna give you a couple of demonstrations on the gear that I will recommend you start with if you're just going to do your video podcast.
Mhm.
And one of the things that I would say that you need to invest in, and by investing, I'm just going to tell you that it's about $85 on a good microphone. Okay, that I have on the list that you're gonna get at the end of the power hour today. So it's just a microphone is $84. It plugs right into your computer, is plug and play. And then you have your phone. Right. So we're talking about an investment of $85 to start your podcast. And then if you want to have a tripod, if you don't have a tripod, then you can purchase a tripod. And then we're looking at about $100 investment to get all the benefits that video podcasting will bring to you. Okay.
Mhm.
So that is just that your phone, the microphone, and a tripod. With that, you can get started. Okay.
Love that.
Because when you are recording, you can just record with your phone. And then later on, you can bring it into a software to edit the video itself or to retouch the audio. Okay.
Mhm.
So that is it. So now, before we get into the video comparison, are there any question, Melody, that you would like to cover after we talked about that?
Yep, I'm going to keep going. So you talked about structuring your podcast and planning your podcast and the content. Can you talk a little bit about is it more beneficial to video? And then to release it or to go live?
Melody, that's a great question. And that is a really great question. It depends on your schedule.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's depending on your schedule. It depends on the goal that you have, right? So if your schedule allows you to batch record 5 episodes so that you can have your first 5 episodes recorded,
Nice.
do it, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna have your first 5 episode recorded, edited, and then they're going to be releasing every. I'm using Wednesday because Wednesday is just awesome. Every Wednesday
It's
at
hump
one
day.
o'clock, right? Exactly. Every Wednesday at 1 o'clock, you will be releasing that, and you can schedule it, which is something that will happen automatically, and the only thing you have to do is just follow up with it, right?
Mhm.
If you are looking for engagement, awareness, building a community, and I want to say those will be the main ones,
Right.
go for live streaming. And the reason why live streaming helps you do that is because right now we're live streaming, we're
Mhm.
interacting. You can
Right.
ask me questions, you can see me answering the questions in real time. So that starts to build trust and starts to build community. They know you and they know how you will react to certain questions and certain things. So it depends on your goal, whether you're going to pre record it or if you're going to live stream it. You can do a combination of both, right? You can say every fourth Wednesday of the month, you're going to go live instead of
Nice.
having a pre-recorded session. So there are different ways that you, depending on your goals, that you can arrange that.
All right. I thank you for that. And I think that's helpful for anyone. I want before I go on any questions you guys have about the tools, any questions, which platform would you recommend? I'm gonna pop that up so everyone can see it.
Yes, let me see. I love this. Here we go. Okay, so which platform would I recommend for posting your podcast? So you're saying okay, platform. So it could be if you're promoting it, right? So you're
Mhm.
going to promote it to where your clients are, right? So for example, if you're going to go posting it, hosting is going to be hosting on YouTube, for example. So you're hosting it on YouTube. If you're posting it for like a little for promotion purposes, promoting your podcast, then you can promote it wherever your clients are: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and etc. But if it's like hosting it, for example, Spotify or iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts,
Mhm.
any podcast platform, just go ahead and post it there, because you just want people to, it doesn't, with Spotify, it doesn't cost you any money to do it. So you can just upload your episodes and just go ahead and show the world who you are and the message that you have to share. Right. So, and we're going to talk about hosting platforms a little bit later, but thank you, Shay, for the question. So that's what I would say. I would say just post it where your clients are, and also depending on the platform too, because sometimes if you post it, if we're talking about posting it for other people to see, for example, on Spotify or iHeartRadio or Apple Podcasts, just make sure that you want to do video, or if you want to do audio, because sometimes some platforms don't support video. Just
Mhm.
a couple of ones, but other than that, a lot of them do.
And you can capture that certainly in when you're planning your podcast and when you're building the bones and putting the meat on top of it to figure
Yeah,
out what works well for your
exactly.
audience, right? So
Yes.
let's talk about, and I'm excited to hear this, low cost recording and editing and publishing tools, free or low cost tools.
Yes. So free, you again, your phone. So you're
Yes.
gonna record there, and you're going to clean your lens before you start with your video,
Yes, that's
right?
something that you have to remind me to just reach up and clean that thing. Yes.
Yeah, I have this little cloth here, and I clean my lens all the time, right?
Yes. Okay.
So you're going to use your phone. So I'm going to show you something real quick. So I have a whole bunch of stuff on my desk. So you're going to see when I change it here, you're going to see some different things. But here, this is my iPhone. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I'm looking at it right here. And if you are on your desk or if you are, it doesn't matter, the setup that you choose, you're just gonna have it on your desk and go ahead and record. Do your thing, right? And then you're gonna plug in your phone into your computer, or you're gonna plug in your microphone in your computer too, and then you're going to be recording. You can use if it is going to be I'm just gonna come right here, and if it's going to be on the computer itself, you have for Mac, you have QuickTime, which allows you to record your right from there. So you're gonna use that as your recording source where the microphone is going to come in as well as your video, just like this. Right, so you're gonna bring it into QuickTime. For Mac, for PCs, there you also have the PC. I believe is recording. I'm not sure about the PC, but the PC has an equivalent to QuickTime for that. So you're gonna do that and click record and start recording. So you're choosing your video source, which will be your phone, and you're choosing your microphone, which will be your audio, and that is that. So the platform that's going to be recording for you is going to be QuickTime if you are on a Mac. So those are the three things that you will need to record, but you can also just record it on your phone. You just have to get an external microphone for that if you're not recording in your on your PC.
So there's a
And okay,
comment,
so Wise, yeah, so Wise says that they think that the PC equivalent is Windows Media Player. Okay, there we go.
Thank you,
So
Wise.
it's
Wise
thank you,
comment.
Wise. Thank you, Wise, aka Carolyn.
Yeah. So Anna, so that's recording. You can talk about some editing and then publishing would be helpful, I think, for the team, for the group here.
Yes. Yes. So editing, you can do if you have a Mac, you can do it on iMovie, right? Or even on your phone, iMovie on your phone as well. Or you can do it if you have CapCut. It's free, super easy to use, very intuitive. And they have a free version and they have a paid version. But with the free version, you can do a lot of editing. You can clean your audio nicely with it. It's very simple to use as well. So that will be your editing and recording, editing. And what was the next one, Melody?
Then publishing.
And publishing. Okay. So now the publishing, you have it all set up and ready to go. You have to determine which platform, which Shay was mentioning earlier, you want to post it in. So do you want to go to YouTube? So if you want to go to YouTube, then you go ahead and create your channel, all of that good stuff. And then you go ahead and upload it there. YouTube makes it super simple because you can send it on a playlist to just be audio. So people can just listen to the audio if they are in their car or if they're cleaning or whatever. Or you can also have it as video and they will be able to see behind the scenes you delivering the content, which is what makes it really engaging when you use video. And one of the reasons why you should use video when you're doing your podcast. So those are the three right there. I answered them all?
Yes. Did everybody get that? Any questions about any of the amazing points that Anna made? I'll give everyone a second.
And also you're gonna get a guide at the end of the show today that is going to give you a summary of everything that we spoke about here today when it comes to platforms and equipment that you free and then the little investment that you will make.
Is there a business idea or a business format for which podcasting would not work well?
You're here with the questions, Melody. I honestly cannot think of one. The only one that I could think of is security, but it's still like if there's high security, you can still do a podcast, just not with video.
Right.
Right.
So
I
we're
don't
convinced that
see.
podcasting is possible for all of our businesses. Bianca has, what are some best practices? Bring that up so I can see the rest of it. I don't want to click off. There you go.
Yep.
Bianca says, what are the best practices if you want to interview guests? How do you prepare your guests?
Yeah, Bianca, that is an amazing question because that is another layer. So I'm assuming that that means that your podcast, video podcast, is going to be guest driven. So for that, you have to prepare your guests for a lot of different things, and that involves letting them going over with them what your show is like, what can they can expect before, during, and after. That will be a nice preparation because no matter how comfortable we are on camera, we like to know what's going to happen, right? So letting them know how it's going to run even after the podcast is over is a good practice. So now that's how you will interview your guests. And depending on where you're going to be hosting your podcast, whether it is in real life or virtually, also there are other steps that you need to take when it comes to what equipment that they're using. Should they use Safari or Chrome? What software you are using so that they can familiarize themselves on how you're going to be running the podcast. So I would say those will be the top three, but there are a lot more that will require an entire other power hour to talk about. But I will say, those are the basics that you should be worry about. And do let me know, Bianca, if you have any follow-up questions after that.
Absolutely. I love this interaction. I think there's another question here. You bring that up from Melissa. Melissa's asking, do you recommend using Buzzsprout or a platform like it to help distribute the podcast?
Yes, so Buzzsprout is pretty good. The last time I checked, though, they did not support video. So double check that, and that is on that list as well that I in the list, the ebook that you're going to get today. But Buzzsprout is pretty good. It's pretty good. I tried it out, and it's just whether you're going to have video and it's important to you to support the video or just audio. But I would say, yes, this is a good platform.
Cool beans. Any other questions before we move on to some more magic from Anna? Okay. Whenever I ask that question, I play in my head that Jeopardy music for a little bit, or maybe just a happy birthday to you guys, Stevie Wonder.
You should have told me. I will have some music for you, Melody. I would have some music for you.
Yes. Cool. So we kind of figured out, like almost any business, right? Depending upon what the business is and how you want to share information in your target audience. So we talked a little bit about this question, ways in which, and I think it bears repeating, that podcasting can support your business.
Yeah. And podcasting can support your business in just remember what I mentioned earlier, right? So at first, I was doing it because out of the need of, I can't find the events that I am photographing unless I'm photographing them. So I want to know what type of events are out there. So that was my why for starting that. In that, I got invited to cover events because they saw me on video and the business wanted me to promote them on video. Remember, that was in 2015 when video just came out. So I was doing that. People will ask me, family usually would be, how are you going to make money?
Right.
I'll be like, right? So that was the first thing, how are you going to make money? But remember this, that you're using video and podcasting as a marketing tool.
Right.
That is on the side going to make you the money. It will happen because for me, for every time that I invested in hours and hours preparing for my podcast, because I was having it every Thursday at 1:00 every week. And speaking about sustainability, I was first having it 3 times a week, and then I was like, I can't do this. I can't.
Mhm.
So I went to one time a week, and that was sustainable. I did it for 3 years. And in those 3 years, I met so many people. The guests will learn about what I do. I learn about what they do, and we collaborated in a lot of different ways. They turned out to be, ended up being clients of mine. Also, I ended up being clients of theirs as
I
well.
love it.
So there were great collaborations. So the more you interact with people interviewing, and the more you show up in video, the more it will benefit your business. So don't worry about people asking, how are you gonna making money? You're doing this, you're investing all this money for this. If you have a plan that this is for your video marketing purposes, it will work for you. You just have to have a clear plan on how that time that you're investing is going to come back to you in
Mhm.
reward for you and your business. So I would say it just, you cannot go wrong with podcasting or video package. You just cannot go
Love it.
wrong.
I
Yeah.
love it. Talking about strategy. So I'm going to ask,
Mm-hmm.
strategy is important, right? That's about the plan. That's about knowing who
Yes.
your target audience is, so you know where to show up and how to show
Mm-hmm.
up, and whether it's on hump day or Friday eve or a Sunday evening, whatever works for you and works for your people. So I
Yeah.
asked everyone, again, talking about strategy, to come on camera if you can, so Anna can just take a look at how you're positioned and give you a good analysis of move to the left, move to the right, background should be blurred or not. So don't start with me, because don't start with me.
No,
Start with
we already did that. We already did that. So we're just, I'm just here on the gallery view, and I'm just gonna check
yeah.
everybody. And one of the things that I would say for you, oh, look at Shay. Shay came with it.
Oh,
Shay,
let me look at
I love
Shay.
your
Where's
hair.
Shay?
I love your hair.
Yes, Shay. Yes, Shay. Mm-hmm.
So I see everyone, the for Marisol, what I would say on for you is, you're looking down and you see how, I'm just gonna bring this for me. You see how my phone in here is just like looking up at me? That's the angle. Typically what they suggest is for the it to be at eye level. So I'm just gonna put it eye level here for me. And actually, let me just move it to the front so you can see a little bit. Well, I have my camera right here, but just have it in your phone at eye level. And if you cannot have it at eye level because of the reason that I have right now, just elevate it with a notebook or something like that, so you can be nicely framed in the middle, unless you have something to show to the side. But that is the only thing that I would recommend for you, Marisol. But in terms of presence, your presence is beautiful. I like it. And then of course Bianca just came with it too. Like Shay, like
Yeah.
she has a plan in the back, and she just like her. I love that. She's nicely framed. Melissa, I love your background. It's really, really cool. Are you on your Mac? I mean on your desktop? Yeah. So the only thing for you, I would say, is maybe even bring the laptop down a little bit. If you are on a laptop, just like bring it forward to you. So there you go. Look at how good you're
Very
looking,
good. Very
right?
good.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So that's like that. And then Harriet, she's just there chilling. So I'm just gonna let you chill. But you're getting you're getting
Harry
the
says,
tips
I'm here
here.
for the knowledge, not the pictures.
So that's typically what it would be. So you're just going to make sure that you are straight to the camera, right? That you're facing straight on, and that you're looking at the camera eye level, right? That
Mhm.
you're not looking up at it and you're not looking down at it. Because ladies, when we look down at it, what happens? Our neck just does weird things, and we don't want weird things happening in our neck. We just don't, right? So we just want to make sure that we're straight on, framed beautifully, so that we can feel confident and deliver the incredible content that we have to deliver.
That was an amazing gem. I appreciate that. I appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So, what I'd like to do next is can open it up for any questions, and then we'll go on to the the next question. Any thoughts about all that Anna shared so far about target audience? Not going into marketing, we're still staying on podcasting, but
Yeah.
she absolutely is a subject matter expert on that as well. But any questions about any podcasting that you might already have, or any challenges that you've encountered with your podcast? Any glitches that, yes, Bianca?
I have a question. When I listen to some podcasts, they have like an introduction that they consistently post before each podcast. Is that recommended?
Yeah, so that's a great question, Bianca. So it all depends
Mhm.
on you, on how you want your podcast to be. So if you want to give an introduction, then yes. Personally, my opinion is yes, you do. You need a little bit of something before you come through so that you can do that breathing, that relaxing before you come on camera, right? And that is whether you are live or recording, you're still gonna feel the little before you come on camera. So having the little buffer is good. Yeah. So I would say have it and then play around with it. See how long you want it there and things like that. Yeah.
And to follow
You're
up on
welcome.
that question, does that help with branding, having people to understand, oh my gosh, that's who's on now? It's almost like a commercial for what's about to come up. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a commercial, and it is. It's just getting the audience ready also for the podcast. They'll have their, hello, this is and that sponsored by all of that good stuff, right? Typically, I skip through that when I'm on listening to a podcast. I skip through it,
Mhm.
but we do it for us, right? We do it to get us ready, not for the audience themselves, right? We do it for us. The way I think about it, what we do for the audience, for our viewers, is what comes after that little
Mhm.
intro. Yeah.
Mhm. That's good. Any other questions, ladies? We've got Miriam and Kim, Harriet, Marisol. This is a good time. So if you want to just hold your questions until we're done, that would be amazing. So let's see. And how do we connect with you? How does anyone? Oh, wait, let's start. Can you use a virtual background?
Yes, you can. You can actually use the virtual background. I have. Let me show you back to this one, right? So you can, this is an app and it's also on your guide that's called Camo. This app is incredible because it allows you to do a lot of different things, including do virtual backgrounds.
Mm.
And the virtual background, just make sure that it's not a virtual background, for example, that you use in Zoom, because it will just, it's just not, you see people disappearing, you see it is just not professional, right? And then nowadays, and it was I want to say a year or a year and a half ago, it was, people will say you can get by with not having good video, and it's okay, people are used to seeing people disappearing. But now, because video is so readily available, it that people expect you to show up looking
Mhm.
great in video.
That's a good point.
So don't listen
Mhm.
anymore to the, oh yeah, it's okay that it's not blurred, that's, that you disappearing a little bit. No, we don't disappear, right? We want to be professional. Can you imagine delivering this really awesome, like it's really incredible point, and all of a sudden you disappear? Right? It's going to knock people's attention right away. It's going to get them off the topic that they were in. And then it's going to take you time to be like, oh, here we go. I disappear again. Ha ha. Like, we don't want that, right? We just wanted to stay everything consistent and the message go through. But so let me go back here again. In this app, you can do different things. So you will control it from, so I'm going to show you again. This is just a regular background that I have. And then just click of a button, I will blur my background a little bit,
Mhm.
right? So you see that. I know I'm small right now, so I don't think you can really appreciate it, but you can blur your background. You can use virtual background if you wanted to. See, this is a disappearing factor. Like, we don't want that, right? So it's like you have to play around with it. And then this one would be if you have green screen, which is the virtual background that our guests, let me bring it up, this virtual background that Miriam is asking for. But Miriam, your background is great. You should use your background as much as you can use it. You don't need a, but if you needed to, yes, you can definitely use a virtual background with green screen so that it can look nice and beautiful and you don't disappear.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So uh, I remember some time ago, Anna, when we did the Wise Wins program, we talked a lot about um, positioning, what was important, and to keep going, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
kind of mess up a little bit, kind of stutter or go off topic, or something does not work right, to keep going. Don't stop, and don't let that cause you to kind of give up. So, along with what we're asking now, like what platforms to use, what your background should look like, what is your recommendation for if you're doing live and something kind of just happens, you don't expect something, a button clicks or whatever, starting again or keep going?
It will depend on what it is that
Mm-hmm.
it happens, right? But always keep going. If you are, just think about this, because sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, especially when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to live streaming or when we're live. We put a lot of pressure on ourselves, like we have to be perfect because we see edited videos. Because if you're live and you watch a lot of lives, you will see a lot of imperfection. You will see it. Like things will happen because that's live. But if you see a pre recorded video or a podcast, you're going to see it edited. So you're going to see that perfect. Right? So don't look at those. Just think about life itself. If you are at a presentation and you are doing a presentation, gotta know that you are the screen is not gonna work, and the tech has to come in and fix it, right? That the clicker doesn't have batteries and all of a sudden it had batteries but now it doesn't, so the tech has to come in and replace that, right? The screen in the back, it was working but then all of a sudden it's just showing something weird. But what happens during that presentation? The
Mm-hmm.
presenter and the conference keeps going.
Yes.
You just need to keep going and you need to pivot and go for it because you're here for the content, and people saw that, yes, some technical difficulty, but here you go, delivering the content, and what they came for was you and what you needed to say. The
Mm-hmm.
rest is just bonuses. No?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm gonna do
Absolutely.
this for that right now.
Yes, I love that. Absolutely love that. Imperfections often can bring out character, right? Imperfections
Yes.
can often show like what you're made of. Women entrepreneurs, I think we're bosses just for getting started. However
Mm-hmm.
it is you start, and it's never always perfect. There are
Right.
times when it's just going to have glitches in those things. Oh, thank you, Carolyn. We're saying the same thing. Brilliant folk think alike. It shows yes, yes, authenticity. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and that builds community too. What we
There
were
you go.
talking about when it's live, right? When it's live, they
Mhm.
see you and you're building. They're seeing your character. They see you, how you can potentially react to something that happens if you two were doing business. So that's a great indication of how you would react on a situation like that in real life, right? So,
Yes. So is there, we often say, take the leap, right?
mhm.
Jump, and the parachute will find its will develop. Jump, and the ground will catch you. Um, do you agree? For podcasts, you should just get started.
Yes, you should just get started. You should get started strategically, though. You should have your plan, but you should
Absolutely.
just get started. But don't get, um, for example, Bianca mentioned, oh, some podcasts have a little introduction at first. Should I do that? If you are trying to get that intro and it's just not coming the way you want it to because you're seeing that you want to have this specific tone or the sound and you can't find it, and all of a sudden you're just not doing it because you cannot get that right, I
Right.
would say go for it. Forget
Yes.
about the intro, and then later you figure it out, because you're gonna figure out so many things once you get
Mhm.
going.
That's good.
Once
That's
you get
good.
going, you're gonna know what you like, what you don't like, what you would like to integrate, how you would like to integrate it, because you are in the action. And when you are in the action, you're gonna get a lot of feedback from yourself, from people, from everything, right? That you're doing. So I would say just go for it. You have everything that you need. Even if say you didn't have a microphone, which I will say yes, even if you cannot invest on the $85 microphone that I'm suggesting, invest on a $20 one and start with your phone. Like, that's it, right? You can do it that way. But if you are in your business and you're serious about this,
Mhm.
which you should be, $85 should be nothing for you, right? It should be like, listen, if you have to borrow that money, you're going to borrow that money. But we spend $85 on things that we probably wouldn't even wear. Just saying. Just saying. So you can spend money on your microphone and then get started. So don't
Yes.
let the equipment overwhelm you. Don't let the logistics of whether I should have an intro, an outro, a commercial, all of that will come after you get started if you don't have it yet. So invest first, and then in where your basics, and then everything else will come.
I love that. I love
Yeah.
that. Many women who are brave enough to start, we want perfection on day one. I don't know about
Mm-hmm.
anybody else. I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Yeah.
I can admit that, particularly when you know that what goes out on any platform, you're not going to be able to take it back. It's going to be
Right.
there forever.
You might, but people had already seen it. But yeah, you
That's
might
right.
be
That's
able
right.
to.
It is absolutely not going to be erased. It's a bell when it's rung, you can't unhear it, right?
Right.
So conquering that fear and having confidence
Mm-hmm.
is really important. And Wise Women Business Center is here, of course, as a service to business owners in Central New York to help you and to connect you with amazing experts as Anna. Anna, how do folk find you if they are interested in talking with you more and on a direct level?
Yeah. So you can find me at Anna GIL Studios.com. That is ANAGIL studios.com. And I'm also on LinkedIn. I'm active on LinkedIn and then also on Instagram and as Anna Gill Photography, Instagram there too.
Mhm.
Also, as we mentioned earlier, if you want to see, so the platform that we're using right now is Zoom. You came in through Zoom. However, I'm using Ecamm Live. So Ecamm Live is a software that allows me to do all of this graphics. It also allows me to record video isolated so that I can later use it to promote the video podcast. So what I mean by that, if I don't want to have the decorations that we have right now, I have the video with nothing on it that I can use later. Also the audio, if I just want to have the audio podcast, I just get the audio and I'll just post just the audio without video. So that is what I'm using right now for Ecamm. So for Ecamm, I produce 2 shows, as Melody mentioned. So you can find me on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern, and that's called ENN. We show the community how and the incredible things that they can do using the platform, as well as update them on what's happening in the world of technology as it relates to us video producers and creators. And then you can find me at Officially Unofficial, which was my podcast that I started in
Yes,
2020. And you can see, if you go all the way back, you can see how I started.
I love
I
that.
started with a webcam, fam. Like, even this webcam that we have, I'm going to show you this right now because you haven't seen it. So this webcam is like $85. And I wish this webcam was there before when I was first started, right? Because this webcam looks just great. You can do different things. You can zoom in, and again, these are things that you can do after you have invested. But look at right. So it's a nice. You can do things like this. You can blur the background like I was doing before with the app, the Camel app. You can do all of that. Look really good. But my video did not look like this, and I still did it, and I still made some nice money.
Yeah.
afterwards. I still so make some great connection, and still from there, the video that you should go. I'm telling you, you should go officially unofficial on YouTube and go all the way back, and you will see my trajectory. It was first a pre-recorded video that I did for Jim and Julie Beheim, and then after that, I started upgrading. I borrow my son's webcam. I will borrow my son's microphone. It was a USB microphone similar to the one that I recommended on the guide that you all will get, and I just got going with it, and then I started upgrading. So as I said, get started, upgrade later,
You
right?
started
But
with the
just get
strategy and
started.
you just jumped. So
Yeah.
Marisol has a question. What training or webinars do you suggest to do before starting? There you go. Or learning more about podcasting. What would
Yeah,
you
so what
suggest
trainings
us
or
do?
webinars do you suggest to do before starting or learn? You know what, Marisol, there's one that Ecamm Live put together about starting your podcast, and is free. So
Mm,
I don't have the link now, but I will send it to you later. You can also go to Ecamm Live YouTube channel, and in there you can look through the playlist, and they have a commercial. A commercial is a little video promo, and in there you can click, and then you will get a link to the podcasting course. It is completely free, and you will get everything that you need about that. Also, I'm putting together a community that's going to answer all of that. So it's going to be a membership based community, but you will be able to come in. We will have a day where I will answer all of your questions. We can troubleshoot tech issues, equipment, and things like that. So that will be another source for you as well. So stay tuned for that. Thank you for the
stay
question,
tuned.
Marisol.
Yes, that was an amazing question. I'm surprised we didn't have it before, but that's why we have community, right? So that we
Yeah.
can encourage each other and share with each other. Absolutely. So there was a comment that was placed in the chat, and I want to make sure that everyone takes a look at the flowdesk.com podcast starter kit. Make sure you
Oh,
take a
yeah,
look
yeah,
at
yeah.
that.
So I'm gonna do it. So I'm gonna put it right here. So this is the code that you can scan to
Everybody ready?
get.
Got your phone? You want to scan right now?
Yep, this is there. You scan
Get
it
it, get
right
it.
there, and you will get that. You will just enter your name and your email, and then you will get the download with lots of information. You have coupon codes in there for Ecamm Live if you want to give it a try. You also have a microphone that I recommend, the app that I talked about here, and then the steps that we talked about, what you should consider before starting your podcast, structuring your podcast. We talked about introductions and things like that in there
Mhm.
as well. What Bianca asked, should you have an intro? How should it look like? I have all of that in there for you. And it's a working document. So whenever I make an update, I will send you an email, which is why you have to enter your email. I will send you an email. Hey, I updated the guide, and now there's a new microphone that I found, or there's a new app that I found that is great, and things like that. So I think you will enjoy the guide. It was pretty awesome. Shout out to my assistant Casey for helping out big time with that one.
Yes, Casey, we appreciate you greatly. Because, dreams and visions can happen alone, but the execution of it is always helpful when you have a
Yeah,
second set of eyes. Second set
yeah,
of eyes. Look,
definitely.
we're coming to the end of our power hour. I think it was just a joy, Anna, to have your expertise, to share with us in transparency, and to give, from beginning to end. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Anna. Amazing session. Oh, thank you, Miriam. She is something else, isn't she? She's absolutely a gem to why she's a gem to all of our clients. And hopefully, you will be following Wise on Instagram as well as on Facebook and LinkedIn, because there are so many experts who can come and share this information with our community. And it's been amazing. Thank you so much for being here today and for
Thank you
being
so
the
much for
amazing
having
you.
me. Yes.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
you so much, everybody. And remember, just do it. Just do it. Get that guy, go
Just
through
do
it,
it.
and just do it. And tag us in it too. Tag Wise, tag me. Let us see what you're doing, because I'm telling you, I guarantee you, you will not regret
Yes.
starting your podcast. You just won't. It's going to be great.
So if you need more, you can connect with Anna in the ways that she has showed us, and as well as email as well. Every time. Yes. Do we not love every single time? You guys have an amazing rest of your day, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.